What's going on, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News, and it's finally time to start breaking out these spring and summer suits. And I can tell you that it's definitely springtime because my allergies are bothering me, my sinuses are acting up, my nose is all clogged, so my voice sounds kind of funny. But luckily, we're not here to hear my voice and what I have to say. We are here to listen to what our guest has to say. And today, my guest is Miranda Maverick, who just picked up a big win over the weekend at UFC 260 over Gillian Robertson. The win also got her a fresh new ranking next to her name, so I know Miranda's excited. Let's bring her in here. Miranda, how are you doing? And thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Doing pretty well. Busy as always.
I have to ask you about the freshly new news in your life, which is the ranking next to your name. It's extremely fresh, probably a couple hours old at this point. So just tell everybody just how excited you are to finally have a ranking next to your name and to do it at the young age of 23 like you did.
It's very great. I actually woke up in the middle of the night, checked the ranking because I couldn't go to sleep very well. And I was finally ranked number 15, barely cracking the top, but hey, I'm there. I'm planning on rising from there. Already a bunch of people trying to make a new matchup for me and stuff. So that's been kind of funny, but I have my eyes set on certain people and hopefully another fight into June, beginning of July.
All right, now let's get into breaking this fight down. And we'll start with the opening round where you were just relentless with your pressure. You were smothering her right in her face. A lot of punches and bunches, some really nice, straight, crisp shots, and a lot of your punches, too, landing flesh on the eye. Her eye was starting to wince and everything as that opening round was coming to a close. Was that your game plan, to come out and apply that type of pressure the way that you did? Because you were highly effective in that opening frame.
The pressure was the game plan, to be a little bit cognizant of her takedowns. We assumed I'd pop her a few times and she'd just be looking for that single leg. It's really all she's got. She's a one-trick pony as far as her takedowns, it seems. She still did very well, obviously. Took me down in the second round. But the first round, I was able to just control my distance and was kind of figuring it out. You can see where I made a mistake a couple times and got a little too close, stuffed myself with my punches. It's actually how I got a black eye, is like over here, her head hit mine when I went in a little bit too close, and got a little bit of a boo-boo from that. But round one went pretty good. And then, of course, there's always improvements to be made, though. Getting my timing and distance a little bit better and more volume adding up in the first round.
And now, like you were alluding to in the earlier part of your answer, how she did take you down in the second round and how that is her bread and butter. Just how composed were you when you were on the ground there, or was there ever a point where you were a little worried, like, oh no, I shouldn't be here. This is the exact opposite of the game plan. I don't want to be here. Or, were you, hey, you know what? I'm comfortable. I'm fine wherever the fight may go. Just exactly what was going through your mind in that second round when she took you down?
I guess a little bit of both. I was comfortable. I never felt in danger, but I also saw what it was like in the judge's eyes as far as me just being controlled for about 3 minutes of that round. It got a little bit frustrating there for a while. There was no damage being done from her whatsoever, which is, I think, where the controversy lies of me getting that second round given to me by two of the judges. But at the same time, I'm like, she did never punch me. She didn't do any damage, and I did way more damage to her in the second round than she did to me. For me, it was just, a pain, though, defending everything. She was good at transitioning and floating where I was going. I'll give her that credit, but she wasn't dominant as far as, pressure or danger from those positions. But she did get the takedown. She did control very well.
And now, before we get into the third round, I have to ask you about the mindset, I guess, after the second round there. How'd you have that score? Did you guys have it that it was 1-1? Or, like you said, she wasn't very active from the top a lot of the round, and two of the judges ended up giving you that second round. Did you think you may have done enough to win that second round and that you were up 2-0 going into the final round? Or did you have it 1-1 where you needed to go out there and make a statement in that last round to get the victory?
I ended every round thinking I lost the round. I think you have to have a mindset like that so that you go into the next round trying as hard as you can. And for me, I'm never looking for a decision win. I'm looking to get a finish. So went into that third round basically trying to either knock her out or submit her or win that fight.
And now to that final round, I'm just going to have you break it down for everybody because it was so action packed. The fight went probably just about anywhere a fight could possibly go. So why don't you go ahead and break down your final round in which you went out there, you got the job done as you got the unanimous decision victory.
Well, I knew that it was probably 1-1, at least in her eyes and my eyes as well. So I knew that I was going to have to not only defend takedowns, but also look dominant myself. I knew I could get takedowns on her. She didn't have good defense at all because she's used to being that ground player and liking it there. So I decided to go ahead and put punishment on her from bottom to or from top two, just like I can. And on top of that, added my striking. And it did go a lot of places. You know, I went to the ground. I landed some ground and pound on her. Took her down twice, I think, in the third round, possibly just once. I can't remember. And then the striking, I think I was very dominant in that third round and hopefully showed the judges that I could hang with her in every aspect and her game plan wasn't working.
And now one more fight-related thing from this past fight. A big storyline coming in was your weight cut. Just how much did the weight cut affect you in this fight? Because we've seen fighters a lot of times where they have problems making weight where they might fatigue as the fight goes on and they lose energy and stamina as the fight goes on. That wasn't the case, clearly, as we just broke it down. You looked fantastic through the 3 rounds, but was there ever a point where you were worried you might fatigue, or did you know that you had enough gas in the tank to go the full 15 minutes and to go wherever the fight was going to go, no questions asked?
I knew I'd be fine. I think a lot of people, it's, mind over matter a little bit. And if anything, I definitely have that. I was raised with that. Second round, I could feel my chest burning as if I had ran outside for 10 miles in the cold, blood in my mouth, tasting like pennies. It wasn't actually blood, but when you can't breathe and it's that much of a strain, it just feels like you're going to die. Like I just kept going because I knew that she'd feel the same way, and got up from bottom and attacked her in that second round. And I don't think she was ready for that. I don't think anybody is. They're expecting that person to feel defeated or take a couple seconds to get breath themselves. And I got right back up and put the pressure on her because I knew she wouldn't expect it. Third round, same way, just kept the engine going because she's tired too. Everybody's tired in a fight, but I trained not just for 3 rounds. I trained for 5. I trained for 8. I trained for 10. Like I try to keep my cardio at tip top. I have a lot of muscle on my frame, and that doesn't help with cardio. And of course, that weight cut doesn't help as well. But I was ready to go. I recovered very well. I refueled my body correctly and trained correctly the day of the fight to be ready.
So now I know that the UFC PI is starting to work with a lot of the fighters to help with weight cuts. Is maybe that an option to look at, or are there adjustments you can make on your own, or maybe do you even start taking a look into maybe fighting at bantamweight at 135 pounds? Just kind of like what's the game plan going forward here now?
I'm absolutely not taking a look at 135. I kind of got a little bit annoyed with the commentators even mentioning that. Now it's given everybody the idea of asking me that question when it's never been a concern before. I've had 20 fights and I've never missed weight at 125. It shouldn't even be talked about. I still made weight. I made the 126 mark and I made it early. I was the third person into the room to weigh in. It literally wasn't a concern. When I say I had a hard weight cut, yeah, it was hard for me to make it, but that's to be expected. Everybody's weight cuts are fairly hard. I just cut a lot of weight for a girl. I had a back-to-back weight cut. It's normal to have difficulties when your metabolism doesn't get any time to recoup. I cut weight and then 3 weeks later was ready to cut weight again. So it's difficult on your body. And on top of that, there's the being a woman that doesn't help with some things. And then on top of that, I've been sick for the last 6 weeks dealing with a minor cold, and just little things add up. Next time I plan to be about 2 pounds under what I was last time, starting out with a water load, and everything should be easy from there.
So how much of this do you think is like us as media members maybe looking too far into something, or to maybe I don't want to say necessarily create a storyline that's not necessarily there, but do you think that it's kind of on us in a situation like this where we're kind of looking way too far into this matter and it's really not that big of an issue?
Uh, Definitely. I think it got mentioned by the commentators and then people took it and ran with it. I've had like 5 interviews and I've been asked the question almost every time when I've had hard weight cuts before. The only difference was nobody noticed that I had a hard weight cut. And this time I decided to say I did. And so everybody's just almost picking on it, just like, if I say, oh, I want to fight for the title in 2 years, nobody listens to the 2 years context. And they're like, oh, yay, another beginner saying they want to fight for the title. Like, same thing happens with a bunch of different aspects, just like media everywhere, I think. But I think they didn't have as much to talk about as they wanted, so they came up with a topic while I was fighting to talk about me becoming a bantamweight by chance, and that's never going to happen. I'm small.
I got you, Miranda. I understand completely there. And now, I guess we'll take a look into your future now. When do you want to fight again, and do you have an opponent in mind?
I'd like to fight one of the Shevchenko sisters before I fight the other one. So I'm calling out Antonina. That's who I want to fight next. We'll see if it happens. I think she's ranked number 12 right now. I'm number 15. I think that would be a good fight. As far as the Macy fight, people keep throwing it my way. They really want it to happen. I even talked about it with Macy at one point, and I just think it's silly for two young guns to fight each other when there's so many older, stagnant ladies in the division that just need knocked out of the top 15 by getting a fight. We can face each other later on down in finals if need be, but right now I'd like to fight some of the older ladies and make my way up the ranks. I want to be fighting end of June, beginning of July, I think is when I'm looking to fight next. I need to focus on school a little bit. If anybody knows me at all, I have a lot going on in my life right now. So I want to take just a small break, get my metabolism back on track, not be in the gym ready for fight camp every single day of my life like I have been since December, and take just a week or two off.
And last, just a few real quick things for you. I know you mentioned school there. I believe I mentioned it at the top too. Just tell everybody a little bit about your schooling and what it is that you're working on right now in your free time.
I wouldn't call it free time, but I'm getting my PhD in industrial organizational psychology. I'm also a teaching assistant, so I have 20 hours a week I have to put into teaching undergraduates and about a 60-hour work week of schoolwork. So how I fit in practice is even hard to explain to people. Sleep is not one of the first priorities, I'll say that. And I definitely don't do anything else like go and socialize or party or, whatever other 23-year-olds do with their life.
Yeah, there's definitely no free time there at all. So I guess if there is such thing as like a day off where you don't have school, and if maybe practice is like that day or something, like do you sneak a nap in every once in a while? Because I'd have to imagine you must be exhausted with that schedule.
I wish I had that, but honestly, like I feel so guilty if I even take naps in the middle of the day. It's just not hardly possible. Like they talk about procrastinating. Like I don't have the chance to procrastinate. If I procrastinate, it means I'm not getting something done because there's always another assignment coming down the barrel. Like today, I had like 3 graduate school assignments, and I've gotten one done so far. I'm going to be working the rest of the day to get the other two.
All right, Miranda, I know you're a busy girl. You have a lot going on there, especially with the schoolwork. Before you roll out, social media management sponsors, anything like that you want to plug, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, please follow me on Instagram. It's at fearthemaverick_HOMT. Any kind of social media, really. You can look up my name, Miranda Maverick. I think I'm the only one out there, or at least one of the only few. It'll be pretty obvious who I am. So follow me on there. I have lots of sponsors, all ranging depending on which fight I'm under. Right now, I'm under LCA management, so contact them if you are wanting to sponsor me. And keep a lookout. I'm climbing those rankings.
There you have it, everybody. Miranda, Fear the Maverick, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it, and best of luck as you wrap up school there for this year, and best of luck too in your fighting future there as you now have that fresh new ranking next to your name. Congratulations. And just a reminder to everybody out there, like I always do, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I really appreciate it when you guys do so. It means a lot to me. And it also means a lot to me and to my colleagues when you head to MyMMANews and you check out all of our great work that we put out there. And also a reminder to not only subscribe to this YouTube channel, but please go to MyMMANews, go to our social media accounts, give us a like, give us a follow. We appreciate all of that as well. We'll see you later, everybody.